I know y'all have heard me talking about this new little Deutz diesel pump that I've got for so long you probably gave up on ever seeing it. But I finally got her done, and I just am fixing a spot. I had it kind of down here, and I got some erosion issues, as you can tell by the tree laying down. It shouldn't have been erosion. I mean, there was plenty of stuff to prevent it. There was plants and trees growing there, but we got, I don't know how much rain we got over the weekend, one weekend back in the winter, and it just washed gullies in places that water don't even normally run. And there was no way, I mean, I could have had a spillway 3 times the size of what I've got in the pond, and it wouldn't have mattered. It would have still run over it. I'm thinking I've stirred up some yellow jackets here. Definitely stirred something. Eyes are not as good as they used to. When I see something swarming, I get kind of anxious until I can determine exactly what it is, but I don't know if y'all can see that in the video. Yeah. If those are yellow jackets, I've made them quite angry. Uh-oh. Nope. That is honeybees. And I have no idea why I would have honeybees swarming here. I hope I didn't tear up a nest, but I can't imagine honeybees living on the ground. I've never seen them be on the ground. I don't really care to get stung by them either. Malachi, pull on down here. We'll set that potassium nitrate on top of this tote. So I had a bunch of mess, just dang sawbriars and multiflora rose head high in here, and I just cleaned that up. And I am confident there wasn't a honeybee nest in amongst that stuff. I don't know what the deal is here. I did jar that snag with the skid steer, so maybe they got a nest in that snag right there. And I made them mad. Anyway, so this is my new pump setup. Looks a little funny sitting here with the suction line laid up across it, but this little 26 horsepower Deutz diesel, little 2-cylinder diesel, knocks like it's fixing to sling a rod out, but I think that's just the way they operate. And my buddy Chris that helped me get all this stuff squared away, he said you may have the only Deutz with an electric shutoff on it that exists, because he couldn't find any information on it. But the purpose of that is I've got this Murphy panel on here, which is fogged up from the 17 inches of rain we've gotten over the past 3 days. But this is pump pressure, oil pressure, and engine temperature. And if any of those get out of the range that they're supposed to be, this thing will shut down. And got this thing plumbed up. It steps up to 4-inch and goes into this Armis disc filter setup, and it will flow a lot of water. That pump's rated for 275 gallons a minute. I don't know, I've not come anywhere close to maxing anything out so far. Everything, I've watered everything that we've got growing here at one time, and still had to cut the pressure way back on everything. So I'm gonna get this backed in, maybe, if these honeybees calm down a little bit. Get my suction line in and get everything hooked up to this hard pipe that I've got running up the hill here. And we're gonna try to run some potassium nitrate to strawberries, because even though we've got 6 inches of rain, it's still semi-dry underneath the plastic mulch. And potassium nitrate will help to firm up these fruit that are kind of waterlogged. keep them from being so soft anyway. I don't know that it won't help being waterlogged, but it will firm up soft fruit. Well, she's in here. The honeybees are still mad. I hate I made them mad, but I can't help it. I didn't do it on purpose. But this is going to work out quite nice. I've never had a setup this nice in several different ways. So I've got the little predator that used to water the fields. Now this little predator can pump this big tote full of water in a skinny minute, and then I can switch up my connections and let it sit here and idle, and it'll recirculate this water. I can add my potassium nitrate, which if you're familiar with, it doesn't dissolve all that great, or it does, but it takes some effort, preferably hot water, which we'd never have the luxury of. And then this is sitting here, and I've got my little suction for my Mozzie injector that I can drop right in there, and we'll be in business. All we got to do is get our suction thrown out there. I think I'm gonna tie it to a jug to suspend it and get some stuff hooked up here, and we'll be ready to roll. Like there's catfish on that jug. We got a little rig here to adapt from hard line to blue lay flat. Sometimes you got to be creative. I ain't got all kinds of disposable income for going out and buying fancy fittings, so we just cobbled something together out of one of the risers, and it works like a champ. Kind of needs a pressure gauge, but so far we've been just operating it with the squeeze method, making sure it ain't about to blow the drip line apart, and calling it good. had this leg right here that waters this little patch, about a half an acre, watermelons and cucumbers and just mixed cucurbits. And a while ago I turned it on to drain the system, and I forgot that it was sitting there on wide open. Started blowing lines off. Hopefully I didn't split any drip tape open. We're already having water issues in this field. It's rained 6 inches since in the last 5 days. It's rained 6 inches, so we've got water standing everywhere already. So even though it seemed like I was never going to get it done, the little Deutz is finally pumping some water and actually running some potassium to the strawberries. This secondary little hose right here, I'm sure somebody asked about that. That is, that's when the filters flush. So the way these filters work, and I don't know how well this audio is going to turn out, but each one of these stacks of filters, as they clog up, what I showed you there on that screen is the pressure differential from this side to this side. So when the pressure differential gets up to 1 pound, it's going to flush these filters one stack at a time, and it does that by reversing the water flow through it, and the water that it's discharging comes out this hose. So that's how that works out. And with this big pump, with a big pipe, I can run about 50 pounds of pressure here, 40 or 50 pounds of pressure, and have the perfect 18 to 20 pounds that I need going out to the field up at the top of the hill. Never been able to do that before. I used to always have to run as much pressure as I could get down here with those little pumps to end up with barely enough at the top of the hill. So right now I'm running 50 pounds to the acre of potassium nitrate to the strawberries, and when I get done here, which won't take too long, start running water for a couple hours, all said and done, this thing fills the system really fast. So 10 minutes, you got all drip lines ready, all the drip lines full, and you're ready to start running potassium, because you don't want to start injecting till your system's full. Otherwise you're going to get real uneven distribution. So about 10 minutes, fill it up. I'm not really sure. I've got 150 gallons of solution here with 2 bags in it. Shouldn't take too long to inject that, and then run it for 30 minutes or so and make sure we got it all flushed out of the system.